Hello, and welcome to another San Francisco by Night Hunter the Vigil. Quite the night last night, but not quite for one Mr. Peyroon. His night was slightly less eventful than some of the other characters, per se. But we now go to the Section 9 waiting room, where Peyroon has been summoned by Mr. X. For what reason, he does not know. And we'll take the scene away there in the white, plain room.
All right. Perrin, especially with none of the other players really around, isn't really keeping up the whole neat, wise, elderly man appearance that he normally tries to keep up. He's a bit more slouched in the chair, legs spread. Um, he does have a thermostat, uh, one of those um, cool cantinas, because I'm sure they're still around. An insulated thermostat that has a little steam coming from it as he slowly drinks a nice, let's go with an herbal blueberry hibiscus tea this time
It is
around.
delicious.
It is delicious.
Obviously, the stuff that they give you at this place is not um synthetic. It is all real stuff.
Of course. But of course, my stuff is still better.
Indeed. You sit and drink for a little bit, and then
Yep.
eventually Mr. X comes in. Hey, Rune, good to see you, my man. How have you been?
Mr. X. I've been. Oh, holds out his arms. Making a profit.
Indeed, and you recovered from the hospital very greatly.
Aye. No scratches or anything. Gotta love modern technology.
Indeed, modern medicine is truly a wonder. He chuckles a bit, and he says, "So, would you and your group be interested in another possible job coming up here sooner or later?"
I'm not sure about the others, but you may have my interest.
Yes, I believe you, Miss Briggs, and Mr. Nathan would be probably the best suited choices for this one.
Oh, that's an interesting combination.
Well, I like having you in some of the set groups because you truly are a face, Mr. Peru, and that's what we need.
Gives a cock smile, and his teeth are pearly white, and you could swear there's that little glint in his that you get with
Mhm.
superstars in his
I
smile.
may actually have two jobs for you. One of them is for you alone. The other one would be for as a group assignment through Section 9.
Oh, now we're really getting into the hiring stuff.
Yes, I would need you to go do some negotiations with the Abbey.
The Abbey?
Oh, he snaps his fingers. He snaps his fingers. That's right. You weren't here during that briefing. We've encountered a few other hunter organizations in the area.
Raises both his eyebrows and gives us a small look. Other organizations? That
Yes, we're not the only hunter organization out there.
I'm suppose that makes sense. I just figured given your reputation, you'd have more official individuals to do such task as negotiating on your behalf. I'm not.
Well, we do have some, but they're just not as good as you.
But
And go ahead and roll me your lie detection.
all right, let me just call. With
Actually, he already got his hits. I don't need to roll.
plus empathy.
You will need 4 hits.
All right, and I will spend a will on this because I have such fuck ton amount of wills power.
Mhm.
Nope.
Okay. He seems to be telling the truth.
All right. Yeah. Perrin will nod at this and go, I can understand your interest in me in this position. However, I don't know what I would need a briefing on what assets I could possibly negotiate with.
The well, the Ashwood Abbey is a bit of a interesting organization. They're somewhat difficult to deal with sometimes. And I wanted you to go there and ask them really if their leader, if everything was set, shall we say. In other words, we can all work together here and be one big, happy organization. But, I mean, the Sons of David have clearly agreed to. Now it's just up to the Ashwood. Sons of David are the other hunter group that's in San Francisco, the religious kind of vibe, if you will.
So, figures they're around. You gotta have the zealots.
They are effective at what they do.
Takes a
You
slow
see,
breath.
roll me a wit plus composure. Tell me how many hits you get.
All right. 3.
You see his eye twitch when he starts talking about the religious zealots.
Not a fan?
They get the job done, but they are quite preachy.
I see. So, what's the flavor with the Ashwood Abbey?
Well, think if a bunch of frat boys got drunk, got some weapons, and decided to go out and be hunters. That's the Ashwood Abbey.
Groans at the very thought of that.
A lot of college kids looking to be hip and cool. It's probably why they're on the college campus of San Francisco.
Interesting.
So we were
So,
wondering if and you can take people with you if you want, but we were wondering if you could go down and maybe talk to them a bit. We have the address and we have where they are. We were wondering if you could maybe tell them to, do things professionally. You can have our card to back up your name, but if one of our direct associates goes there, it could be bad.
and by professionally, what do you want from them exactly?
Cooperation, willingness to work, and not get in our way, and not to be immediately gung ho and start, blabbing that vampires are real, blah blah blah, to the media, because that's just going to cause a panic. And with this other terrorist organization out there, that is the last thing we need. Wouldn't you agree?
So, is this group a new group, would you say?
They've been around for a while. Actually, there's rumors about how they got their start. Apparently, the very first Ashwood Abbey hunters, and I quote, Perun, desecrated on an ancient burial site.
Hmm.
And when I say desecrated, I mean had party time on an ancient burial site.
So,
Fornicated.
So this is some party fucked up frat shit group, but they've been around for a while. Why are you so worried that they'll suddenly start blabbing on the vampire presence now?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because we ran into a little bit of an issue with them back a while, but they've only just now resurfaced. I'll give you a little history lesson. In the year 2020, with the whole virus scare that was going throughout the United States, the Ashwood Abbey decided to take it upon themselves to try and exterminate this due to the fact that they thought that there were secret blood ritualing vampires causing it.
What are
As
there?
they called it, the circle. We have yet to find any evidence of this, but that's what they thought. So, they went around exterminating anyone that looked like a Wiccan. This starting to sound familiar? I believe there was something a very long time ago in this country called the Salem witch trials. You ever read about that?
Yeah.
Well, basically, the Ashwood Abbey went on their own little Salem witch trials. You name it, anyone who knew anything about the occult, who was Wiccan, who looked like a witch, who was doing any sort of druid stuff, you named it, the Ashwood Abbey would kill them, regardless of whether could even prove that they were more than human. We don't know why the Ashwood Abbey did this, per se, specifically at this time. Maybe it was just the scare, maybe it was just bad leadership at the time. But for whatever reason, the Ashwood Abbey went on a massacring spree. And it made us hunters' jobs a lot harder. Because after all, we're supposed to be the shining light, that works in the darkness to preserve the light. And then what happens when we look like the bad guys? Well, for about a good 30, 40 years, the Ashwood Abbey eventually got disbanded because they lost all their contact and resources. So naturally, that did manage to stop the whole Salem witch trial thing from going on, but lo and behold, they resurfaced about 5 years ago. They've kept to themselves, however, they've stayed out of, ironically, most of the big cities, keeping to low-level things like just college campuses, exterminating the local ghoul here or there, you name it. They've kind of been keeping out of everyone's hair for a while. However, the sect that we've seen in San Francisco is the first real big one that's come back up in quite a long time. And let's just say I and a few of my other associates are a little paranoid at what this could mean.
Now,
Especially since the last little incident left a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
I understand this. Do we know if this sect is made from the old guard, or is it just people using the same name?
From what we can determine, it is the Ashwood Abbey.
All right. So you just want me to go over there and make sure they're planning on playing nice.
Indeed, I believe their headquarters is set up at the San Francisco University.
All right. Do I have anything to offer them as an incentive?
Yes, we can offer them money and resources and a lot of aid to their goals. Since their goals do align with ours, we just do it better than they do. And we can also provide protection to some of their members, since we have more resources than they do.
Now, do our goals align with their goals? Their goals seem to be fucking and partying.
In the end, the only thing that matters to us true hunters is the fact that all of the monsters of the night are eliminated.
All right.
We just go about and do it discreet. As I said, the last thing we need in San Francisco is another panic.
All right, I can groove with that. Now, so I can offer them resources, information, and possible protection.
Yes, so to speak. There is one thing I am slightly worried about, though.
Yeah.
Just a little worried that they might go crazy on you and try and kill you. Which is why I think you should take Mr. Banks or someone else with you.
Mr. Banks seems a Mr. Banks and
Jackie would be
Jackie seem
good,
like the
would be
best.
very good. Indeed. You three seem
I
to
have no
be a very
problem
good
with
team.
those. All right.
And that other character, Havik, whatever his name was.
Right. Just worried the mask might draw a little attention.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of hesitant about putting his name in the pot there.
I'll see if I can talk to him before going on this and see if he can ditch the facial gear.
Indeed. And you may want to talk to Jackie sometime. I'm worried that I may have put her off from doing some missions for us. I hadn't
Oh,
realized that one of our other associates was one of her old friends. I'll let you tell you about it. I don't want to get into the details.
all right. I'll see what I can see about this.
Of course, we'll let you know about the other mission. It's probably going to be investigating an old military bunker outside of San Diego. But yeah, we'll get you on that when you get time. For
All right.
now, we'll keep you posted. We'll eventually get you. We'll get you on that Ashwood Abbey one. And I'll tell
Now,
you when it's probably a good time to go.
all right. Now let's talk about my payment for this job.
Of course. What would you like to be paid as? I figured as much when Mr. Caden came in and told me not to pay him in money. What would you like?
Raises an eyebrow. Well, Mr. Cademan doesn't want money. How shocking
Well,
the
when
billionaire doesn't want money.
I was about to say, when you have as much money as that man does, I'm not really surprised that he turned it down.
What's he getting paid in?
Information.
I see. Well, I'm not
Let's just
really the.
let's just put it this way. You know the man's parents were murdered, right?
No,
Well,
I don't really
they
keep
were.
up with celebrity gossip.
Indeed, they were, and he wanted information on their killing, so I gave him some.
Well, I'm not really one for money. My shop makes me enough. However, I am a I've been called a pack rat quite a few times.
Uh,
I like my goodies. I like my toys. In this
hmm.
place, gesturing to the white room, seems full of interesting toys.
You want resources. You want some of the back off the shelf things, shall we say.
Just waggles his eyebrows.
Well, that will be very difficult to do, but I can get it done, just not at the moment. But I can assure you, Peyrun, that I will definitely get you some fun toys. I've actually got one on the way right now. It's the only one I can get you at the moment, but it's a fun little toy.
Claps his hands, rubs them together, and says, "Then we're in agreement." Oh, one last thing. If I should come across any antiquities during these services, just
You
know,
are welcome to them.
thank you. Always gotta keep
Hmm,
my supply shelf stocked.
of course. It is important to always keep your shelves stocked.
And Baron will just clap his hands and go, "Well, I believe that was all you needed me for, yes?"
Yes, there's nothing more to discuss. I'll let you know when we want to send you to the Abbey and when we want you to check out that bunker.
All right. and he's going to clap his hands together and then hold out a hand to shake Mr. X's.
He shakes your hand.
And he's like, "Now, I've been trying to get a good read on you, but you seem you're a very hard man to read. But you seem like a very, very professional man." And he pulls out a little box and goes, "So, I figured an aged handpicker Earl Grey from off the coast of the Swazi province of India would be perfect for you." And
Okay.
hands it
Is
over.
there anything? Is there anything in the tea?
No.
Or
There's
it's
tea.
just normal. It's just tea. Okay. He
It's
takes
just
it.
very, very fancy tea.
He takes it and he says, "Well, thank you."
Uh, Perrin nods and turns to leave.
Turn to leave,
Yep.
and does not seem to bug you.
I will give tea to everybody in this campaign.
You go back to your shop
Yep.
through the pouring rain into the lonely night, and you see that there is a very familiar blonde woman um, standing outside your shop with an umbrella, dressed in kind of one of those Chicago overcoats.
I thought Mrs. X had brown hair.
Well, that's the thing. It's not Mrs. X. It's the woman you met at the hospital,
Oh, right. The nurse. What was her name?
Bianca.
God.
Yeah.
Um, Perrin will walk up. Um, as he walks up, he'll go, "Bianca!" holding out his hands like
she sh-
open,
like she
open
she
wide.
she comes up and gives you a hug. Nice to see you're up and walking again.
Nice to be up and walking. What are you doing here?
Well, I thought I'd pay you a visit since it's. She doesn't really seem to say much after that. It looks like she's tongue tied.
He's like, "Well, come. Let's get out of the rain." And he opens the door. Um, quickly unlocks the shop and opens the door.
Yep. She comes on in and she says, "Wow, nice place here."
He'll, as he walks in, he'll give a whistle for Bowser.
Oh, she just some people out of character. Some people like me when they see very cute and lovable animals just turn into a completely different person. And she is like before Peyrune can even blink or even like do anything, she's like already like just like oh who's the classic oh this dog is love and I like this dog now this dog is mine.
He's the goodest of good boys.
Oh
Um,
yes he is.
Perrin will fish into, um, go to the counter, fish out from a jar he keeps stashed a dog treat, and toss it to Bianca. Let's go, Bianca, before handing it over.
Mm-hmm. She takes it. And does he do any tricks?
He knows most of them.
Sit, roll over, talk. And then she gives him the biscuit. Oh, he is adorable.
Um, then Baron will go, "Watch this," and he'll take out another treat, get Bowser's attention, and say, hold it up, and then spin his hand as he goes, "Dancing Queen," and Bowser will just sort of spin in place. And Baron will just toss up the treat and watch as Bowser just bounds straight up into the air to catch it.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
He's my good as some good boys.
So you continue to play with Bowser for a
Yeah.
bit. And then she kind of looks up at you and she says, "Hey, so about why I came over. Well, it's a little bit embarrassing. A, you forgot your hospital form, so I figured I'd give them to you personally. And B, I was wondering if you wanted to get a drink sometime."
Perrin will give one of those sly smiles and go, "Well, that's mighty kind of you. And I would love to get a drink. Were you thinking of anywhere particular?"
She names a couple clubs that are nice.
All right. Baron will be up to get a drink with her at any of these clubs.
Okay. So I'll say, for expediency's sake, you go out and you have a good time at the
Yeah.
club. Is Peyron gonna flirt with her and be like passive, or is he gonna be active?
He's going to actively flirt.
Okay, roll me some. Roll me some presence expression if you got it.
And I will spend a willpower and my awe here.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna be using off.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a note of that.
For 6 successes.
Holy shit. Um.
Actually,
See here.
sorry. Hold up. I'm sorry. I forgot to roll. That's not what I meant to roll. Ignore that roll. I forgot to roll striking looks. Alright. Striking looks didn't get anything, but that's still 6
Okay.
successes.
So yeah. I guess the question is,
Tiger.
does Peyron want to get? Does Peyron want to get lucky tonight?
Perrin's a gentleman. You'll only pursue it if she seems to really want it.
Well, with 6 hits, yes,
Yeah.
she's gonna want that.
Alright. Yeah, Perrin will get lucky tonight.
Okay.
Though
So
most of the night he'll
what's the night hill? What?
um, be trying to ask her about her,
Oh yeah, she'll
talking
tell
to
you
her.
about you. You find out that she's been a nurse for a while. She's actually a hematologist. And she basically came to San Francisco a couple years ago because a good friend of hers moved in, and her friend bought her a house, so she's trying to pay back her friend. And she worked through medical school and did all that. And she is now interested in becoming a full-on professional uh, hematologist, and she's been doing really, really well so far. So she's having a good time. There's a couple parts of her past that she doesn't want to go into. For example, you see a scar on her back, and every time you mention it, she just doesn't. She kind of shies away and won't tell you.
All right.
But other than that, pretty standard med student coming in story. Uh, she also tells you that she has a dog. Um, his name is Hector, and he is actually a bull terrier.
Aw, cute.
And let's see here. I'm looking up her profile. Um, yeah, that's all she tells you.
Right.
She talks a lot about her friend and about how her friend like really helped her and is awesome and is cool and does that.
Does she
And
mention
it's
the
almost
name of this friend?
yeah. I'm getting the name. Teresa.
Teresa?
Mm-hmm.
Um, she obviously likes talking about Teresa, so I'm going to steer
Yeah.
the conversation a little to what does. First off, what was the name of the um, vampire who was creating ghouls back at?
Uh, oh, geez. I think it was like just Boris or something.
All right, so it's not the same one.
No.
Next, so I mean, Teresa got my interest. I mean, the lady bought this woman a house.
Yeah. And helped
So,
pay for her internship.
and you said it's almost as if she's like charmed or something.
Well, she certainly seems to like this
Yeah,
Teresa.
trying to get.
Granted, you don't have any
Yeah,
idea what that means, but
yeah,
out of character, I'm sure you know what it means. But in character,
yeah.
no.
I'm going to try to get her to tell me about Teresa. What does Teresa do?
Teresa is very wealthy. Apparently, she works at Modoc as one of the lead executives, and that is a name you have heard. There is another person who has a family member who works for that place, and it's also been mentioned to you by Mr. X.
And it is also the
It's
place that apparently. What do I know about Modoc?
it is a security company and a technology company, computer company. Very wealthy. It is probably basically like, you know how there's kind of a monopoly with like Microsoft, Sony, and everything. Well, in the year 2077, a lot of the corporations have taken over everything. So Modoc is literally one of the corporations that owns like half of the West Coast
So
in
it's
terms of tech.
basically like a AAA.
Mm-hmm. Teresa
And
helped me with one of my. She talks about how Teresa helped her with one of her last relationships that didn't go well. And she says, you're really cool. You're really awesome.
how'd she help you?
Oh, she kicked his ass. And roll me your detection on that one.
My wits empathy detection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me know how many hits you get.
I keep forgetting to add stuff to my stuff. Oh well. One success.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like she's kind of being honest with that. Like, she kicked his ass. Like, it seems like there's stuff she's leaving out, but you can't really quite tell what is she's leaving out.
Mm.
And she's like, oh, she kicked his ass, got me out of there. Like I said, bought me a place, took care of my intuition. And basically, I'm paying her off a little bit at a time, with favors and money and stuff.
Teresa sounds like an amazing friend.
I know, right? She's just awesome.
You have to introduce me sometime.
I I think I will.
Um, and then he's going to steer the conversation back towards her dreams, all that
Yep.
stuff. Because
Yeah,
honestly,
like I said,
Teresa doesn't
like I
really
said,
ring alarm bells to me.
yep. So, she starts talking about it. She starts talking about how she wanted to be a doctor and keeps going. And other than that, and then she's like, I have a friend at home who's feeding Hector right now. Can I maybe stay here for the night?
Perrin will be like, just give her the biggest smile, or give her just wink and go, "My casa is su casa."
And as the camera fades into the pouring rain of the night, as passions alight, we end this solo session of San Francisco by Night, Under the Vigil. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.